Get up there. Woo! All right. Hey guys, today I bring you two affordable off-roaders. Now I had the question, if you only had about 2,000 bucks to spend and you were searching around on Facebook or Craigslist and you wanted to find something to go off-roading with, what could you find in that price range? And I found not one but two affordable American classics that both have some off-road capability. Now the first one I brought here is a 1991 Ford Explorer. Now this was the first year of the Ford Explorer, and believe it or not, this was actually the first ever four-door SUV that Ford made, period. They had never made a four-door SUV prior to the Ford Explorer. If you remember, this actually replaced the Bronco 2 back in the day. Now, this Ford Explorer shared the same platform as the Ford Ranger. That means that under the hood, it also got the exact same engine that was in the Ford Ranger. This was a 4-liter V6, put out about 155 horsepower, 220 pound-feet of torque. Now, I have brought this as is. Haven't done a single thing to it, and it's got a little bit of a coolant leak. Sprays out from one of these hoses here. So hopefully this thing doesn't overheat on the course. I'll try not to get it too hot and I'll watch that temperature gauge, but just in case, I do have an extra bottle of coolant. In today's video, we are taking these cheap SUVs through Onyx Off-Road's Andre's Pit course. Now both of these have not great tires. It looks like a long time ago they were good tires, but they've since lost most of their tread. So getting up and around these is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to give it my best effort and see how I can do. All right, so we're going to start with Lava Lane. So we're going to see how the approach angle, and I've got the spotter here telling me whether I should keep going or not. And and you know what? This thing isn't even in 4x4. Let's put it in 4x4. I'm not using low range yet, a high range. So let's see how we're doing. Keep in mind, this is a stick shift as well, so I gotta ride the clutch a little bit, but see what we can do. Oh, look at that. Oh, it just goes right up. No problem. Oh man. That surprised me, honestly. It's kind of hard to see on camera just how vertical you get in that Lava Lane. But man, that's pretty fun. That's almost like, that's as close as you can get to being on a roller coaster without actually being on a roller coaster. Now the second vehicle I brought is a 2003 Chevy Blazer ZR2. Now I know these never really competed directly with each other. They're about a little over 10 years apart, in fact, but I'm trying to look at what can you realistically buy for under $2,000 and then take it immediately off-road. Now this isn't the original Blazer that came out in 1969 that a lot of people are familiar with. This is what's referred to as the S10 Blazer because it was based off the smaller S10 pickup truck. These originally came out in 1983 and you could get them in 2-door or 4-door, but this is the second gen, which came out in 1995, and they made this all the way up until 2005. Now the 2003 S10 Blazer had a 4.3 liter Vortec V6 engine that put out 190 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely a substantial upgrade over the 91 Explorer, but keep in mind, again, they're about 10 years apart. This Blazer may seem like, oh my gosh, that is such a better deal, right, than that Explorer. But one of the issues I haven't really mentioned yet is this guy is, well, you'll see. Yeah, you hear that? That's not modified exhaust, although I guess it is modified exhaust. It's just with a hacksaw modified. It's missing its cat. Now this wasn't stolen like a lot of cats are, but the cat on this had gone bad, and this needed to get transported up to me, and it was about 2 hours away. In order to do that, I had to cut the cat off because the cat was bad and it was restricting it so much so that this thing could only drive up to about 20 miles an hour. So we made the decision to cut that cat off, and now it drives great. I mean, it's super loud, but it drives great. But let's see how she does on Lava Lane compared to that Explorer. Let's take this one nice and slow. I've got it in 4 high as well. Oh, look at that. It's just, oh, seat wasn't in place, but man, I went kind of fast through it with the Explorer because I was afraid of getting stuck. And this guy, I took it nice and slow, and it didn't hesitate one bit. Now the interior on these Explorers, it's pretty basic, right? But you have to remember, this shared its platform with the Ranger, which is a small truck. And the whole dash on this is just like that Ranger was back in the day. You have your selectable 4x4 and low range, and then you just have this sea of plastic. Now with this guy, it's showing 23,000 miles, but keep in mind, that is a 5-digit odometer. I couldn't believe that in 1991 they were still doing 5-digit odometers, but they were. And I know the exterior on this looks a little rough. It's probably sat out here in this Colorado sun for most of its life getting beat, but this interior, if you look at it, is super, super nice. Like, look at these seats. They just do not make seats that look this cool anymore. And so with that being said, I think this odometer's maybe rolled over once, is my guess. So it's about 123,000 miles. Haven't run the Carfax, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty certain my car buying expertise tells me this is a 123,000 mile truck. And the other cool thing about this is you can get it in a manual transmission. This is a Mazda sourced 5-speed manual transmission, and if it were my money, which, well, I guess it is, I did buy this, right? So this is the one I would get versus the 4-speed automatic. The 4-speed automatics on these, a little problematic. So getting into the S10 Blazer, these are pretty nice places to be. A lot of people give crap to these early 2000s GMs because the plastic interiors, I mean, they're, very hard plastics, right? They weren't doing anything soft back in the day. But I will say, although these buttons are very chunky, they're very user-friendly too, right? So if you're using a big glove, you could easily push all of these buttons and turn these knobs, no problem. And the other thing that I noticed too is the fact that you have not only the 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, but you have the auto 4-wheel drive, which you did not get in the early 90s Explorers. So that's kind of a nice benefit to have if you just want to use this as a daily and you just want something that automatically switches into 4-wheel drive when it notices slip. You could get something a little bit like this. And then not only that, but you got steering wheel mounted controls for the radio and 2 cup holders. Now another thing you may hear as I'm going about this course is it's got a little bit of a whine. This power steering pump I think is kind of on its last legs. It still works, but she's screaming. All right, look at that, it's just kind of moving right through the course. I haven't bottomed out yet. Hopefully I don't, but making it right through. Woohoo! All right. Oh, I am no off-road expert, but I'm kind of getting the appeal, guys. There's just something about off-roading a cheap vehicle, because if something breaks, you didn't spend a whole lot on it. It's not a big deal. This isn't a garage queen. I'm not worried about damaging any body panels, but let's give this logs course a try. All right, this is gonna be a bit bouncy. Oh, we're doing it! Oh, I stalled it. Let's see if I can get started again. All right, we got it started. And now I'm kind of already at the top. So, let's see if we can do it. Oh, no, it stalled again. It stalled. Let's try one more time. All right, maybe I'll try this low range. See if it'll switch into low range. I never tried that. It's hard to tell. I don't know if that low range is working. Well, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna give it one last try here. If not, we're gonna back down. Let's see. I have to kind of ride this clutch, but see if I can get it up there. Woo! All right, we're making it. It's like a bucking bronco, but we made it up. Okay, now we're gonna try holes. This one's a little bit more challenging, if I could shift it in the drive there, but a little more challenging than Lava Lane. But considering how easy that was, I do have a lot of confidence in this thing. Man, I feel like I'm just like out on a Sunday drive. No problems. Wow. Now, using the automatic, I totally get why you'd want this off-road, because I don't feel like I'm having to ride that clutch, especially someone like me who's a bit of a novice off-road. I'm not having to ride the clutch to be able to get to the top of these hills. I'm just throttling it a little bit, and it makes it way easier, for sure. And it makes it seem like this thing is that much more of a beast. Maybe just this. All right, let's try the logs and see how it does. Oh, got stuck there. I thought I'd try and go a little slow. Let's see if I can back down a little bit. Give myself a little more of a chance here. Pick up some speed. Ooh, okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. Just have to give it a little more speed. More speed. Woo! Who needs to go ride one of those mechanical bulls when you can just do this? It's way more fun. Now we've got truth or dare here, and I am going to go up the truth side. So let's see, maybe if this angle is a little better to get me up on these rocks. There we go. Ooh, it's making it. I'm doing it. Ooh, stinky clutch. Now for the rocks. And again, just for continuity, I am gonna go up the truth side, which is the easier side, again, because I am a novice. But it's still a bit of a challenge. It's harder than what I just did. But I do have a bit more ground clearance in this, so I'm a little less nervous about bottoming it out. Oh, we're spinning out. Okay, there we go. And power through. Another course successfully tackled. Let's see how it does on these trenches. Whew. It's making it. It's getting through. Oh, there we go. Oh, and I killed it. I killed it. There we go. It'll start every time, though. Oh, there we go. We are making it. We're getting it through. A little bit of wheel spin because the tires on this kind of suck, but oh no. All right, I'm gonna give that another try. Oh, nope. Yeah, it is not gonna make it through the trenches. Tried as best we can, but yeah. I guess these tires are just failing it, unfortunately. Well, it did most of the course. And it was fun doing it too. Again, if I had put some better tires on this thing, give it some proper chance to make this course, I think it would have done it, no problem. What was failing me there was just these old tires with a lack of traction, but let's see how the Blazer does. Now, in order for me to really crown this the winner, we have to get through the mud and ruts, because that Explorer did not. Now, although I would say so far it's been much easier to do, I'd be interested to see if this ZR2 can make it through the mud and ruts, because this came with that G80 locker in the back end. I don't know if it's still working or not. I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we? Okay, here we go. See how she does. Oh, it kicked in. I think it is still working. And it kicks in again. Look at that. Look at that. Yes. This thing is a beast. Oh, I love this Blazer. This thing is so cool. It made it. It did the full course, and I don't think this thing even broke a sweat. Quite impressive. Now, this has been a blast tackling our Onyx off-road course, and I will admit, coming into this, I was a little more partial to the Explorer simply because it's got a manual transmission and those rad looking seats inside of there. And I think if you were gonna find something just as like a daily driver that you wanted a cool stick shift with, this is the one I'd get. But if you're into off-roading and you want something that's gonna dominate and surprise a lot of people on the off-road course, there's no question. This Blazer ZR2 spanked the Explorer's butt with a missing catalytic converter, a bad ABS module so the ABS system isn't working, and bald tires, and it tackled that course without a single problem. Thanks for watching, and for all things automotive, head on over to alltfl.com.